PeanutButterGamer with my favorite Zelda Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I've got a cow on my head. What of it? We're gonna have problems? Or we're gonna have problems, you and me?
This is very normal Boots humor, I love it.
Hey everybody, Peeps here, and welcome back to the final Zelda Month video for 2021. Since I've been doing Zelda Month for so long, naturally, I've done a whole lot of Zelda videos. I have done a total of
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31,
40, counting this one. All those Zelda videos, and I have never once done an entire video on not just my favorite Zelda game, but my favorite game of all time, Majora's Mask. I'm pretty sure I promised I would do one like 3 years ago, but I just never got around to it. Sorry.
Content creation at its funnest. I also love the old Lord of the Rings poster in the background.
Hey, sorry about that, by the way. So I'm finally doing it now. It's actually been a decent amount of time since I've sat down and played all the way through it, so I've really been looking forward to this. And hey, I just did a video on Breath of the Wild where I played through that and had a change of heart on the game. Maybe I'll have a change of heart on Majora's Mask by the time we're through. I doubt it, but maybe. Let's see. Let's start the video now. And before I forget, this is the last day you can get the merch, so check it out with the link in the description below. I promise yours will come with no dog hair on it. What a deal. One Zelda tradition I definitely missed while playing Breath of the Wild recently was being able to name Link, more specifically being able to name him something really stupid. So
Yeah.
say hello to our hero, Peanut.
Insert your Dr. Eggman Pingus meme here.
That's Mr. Peanut. Thank you very much.
Awful.
The funny thing is, if you know the context of this, there's actually another person named Mr. Peanut trying to stay at this hotel.
Yeah, the mechanic is that the Goron has the same name as you, and you can, as soon as Anju gets back from lunch, you can swipe his room key.
The Zelda series is a nice, happy family eating Christmas dinner together.
Dollars straight, dollars stood, and we thanked them for our food.
Then Majora's Mask is the evil stepchild in the corner burning down the Christmas tree. And
Look, I consistently say, Kip, what's your favorite Zelda game, Majora's Mask? Would you recommend it? Oh, God, no. It's depressing. It's oppressive. It dated in certain aspects of it. Definitely explores some darker themes. Existentialism. Oh God, it sounds depressing. It sounds awful. Yeah, that's why I love it.
always loved the game for that very specific reason. Because it burned my Christmas tree down when I was a kid. Yeah. Tragic story. Don't have time to tell it on this video, though. It's almost a meme at this point to talk about how dark and depressing Majora's Mask is. And I mean, it is. Don't worry, we'll talk more about it later. But besides that, I think the thing that makes it stand out the most is the repeated 3-day cycle. Which is also one of the more contentious things about the game, I think, and it-
So, cutting in here, so yes, there was the 3-day cycle of the game, which actually turns away a lot of people, and actually, the reason why Majora's Mask required the RAM expansion upgrade, from my understanding, was this very mechanic. Yeah, so you have your 3-day cycle, and it's very, people have related it to Groundhog Day, right? You're doing the same damn thing, every 3-day cycle, or variations of the same thing. But it's oddly patternistic. And if anything, I've actually been able to turn my brain off to it because I know what to expect and what variations to do. Like, for example, on randomizers, when I play randomizers, right, which we started a series over on the other channel, hashtag plug, where first thing I'll do in a randomizer is, okay, cool, day one, I'm gonna go up the clock tower, I'm gonna go hit where the piece of heart normally is, and I'm gonna go to the chest in Clock Town where the milk bar is, and then I can go find the Great Fairy, and I can go into like it's North Clock Town, right? Do the Great Fairy, because the Great Fairy could be 2 items, right? I mean, that's just randomizers, but even then, the base game, I mean, by the night 1, I generally have everything done, and I'm just waiting for night 3 at that point to get from Deku to Child Link, and I'm just grinding the blue rupees from the laundry pool. I mean, you can find patterns very easily in this game.
It's one of the things I hear people bring up the most when they're criticizing it. And I will admit, there is a lot of waiting around. Oh my God. He's
The 3D remake did fix a lot of this, though. The Majora's Mask 3D, it's actually a really contentious remake because of a lot of things. They took out Zora swimming is heavily nerfed, even when you're using magic, as well as you don't retain momentum when you're using the Deku spin from from the lily pads. You don't retain the speed, so it really grinds the game to a halt. However, some of the time things, like you can go to a specific, you can go to if you're in day 3, right? You can go to day 3. 1 p.m. and you can go directly to that time, which actually eliminates a lot of this waiting. So there's a happy medium of things to pick and choose from each of these. And arguably, I say play both. That way you have a full experience. If anything, I want to go back and play the original 64 over in Japan, the 64 copy of Majora's Mask there, because they didn't even have the owl statues. You did all this in like 1 3-day run.
Finally coming! What is with this freaking walk cycle, though?
It's just Sakon. Just Sakon doing Sakon
I'd like
things.
to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Bai. I buy a lot of stuff straight from Japan, things like snacks, toys, stuff like that. Recently, I bought some spicy snacks and candy that I was going to be using for a video on my other channel, for example. And in the past, when I used websites like US eBay or other reseller websites, I would end up paying a lot more than I should have. But thankfully, Bai is here to help. With Bai, you can purchase things directly from Japanese websites. Places like Yahoo Japan, Mercari, Rakuten, and even things like Japanese Amazon. Naturally, if you do this, it's going to be a whole lot cheaper. Bai buys these products off of those websites, ships them to their warehouses, and then they ship them directly to you. And even better, they recently added FedEx for international shipping, which means they can send it to you super fast. Cheaper and faster than similar services? Peeps, I don't believe you!
So it's arguably, I would argue, and I would definitely do your research, though, it's arguably better to do this. I had a buddy who had a buddy in Japan. He went over there, he was stationed over there, and sent a Cardfight Vanguard playmat. However, it must have been declared incorrectly, because when you send something internationally, you have to declare what it is. For example, I sold a Naruto card over to Italy once upon a time, and I had to declare exactly what it is. It was like $60 in shipping. It was awful not shipping internationally again with that. That being said, you have to declare what it is, and if it isn't correct, as in the case of this playmat, the post office just took it out of the tube. And so my buddy at the time got the tube with nothing in it, and he called them, and they couldn't do anything about it. So a service like this that is the middleman that can do all that for you, I would argue would be better, just at a safe, unless you have a friend that knows what they're doing over there and is very reliable. Just international shipping, just with the restrictions, constraints. I actually did my senior project on the post system, actually, now that I remember. It gets weird internationally is all I'm going to say. So something like this would actually make this a hell of a lot easier for all parties involved, in my opinion.
Shut up, idiot! It's true! So if you want to buy some cool stuff you can only get off Japanese websites, then use my link in the description below. And believe it or not, you'll even get a 2,000 yen first-time purchase coupon.
Nice.
When you sign up for a new account. Bai really is a cool service, so if you want to check it out, again, use my link in the description below, and thanks to Bai for sponsoring. But other than all the masks, the 3-day cycle has always been my favorite thing about Majora's Mask. At the time of my first playthrough, I don't think I had even seen a game where each NPC had a schedule and you had to be in one specific place at one specific time in order to complete a side quest. I guess it's not that novel of a concept now, but as a kid, I really thought it was cool.
It's no Radiant AI system from Bethesda, like, don't get me wrong. However, so all it is that it makes the world feel more organic. So, for example, if tonight at 11:30, please come to the kitchen, we know in the background that she's just coded to go to the kitchen at 11:30. We all know that these AI are on preset routes. We know they have pathing to be in certain locations. For instance, Anju on the final day, if you do the Anju Cafe side quest, but you don't get the cafe mask, Anju is still waiting in the room, or Anju could completely disappear altogether if you don't show her proof that Cafe is still around and alive, right? They have predestined routes. However, the time system gives it the feeling of an organic, living, breathing world, right? You got the carpenter that's screaming at the poster in South Clocktown, right? You have the Sakon, right, who's playing Pokemon Go behind the slide in North Clocktown, right? Hashtag Vinesauce reference. To his one of his Majora's Mask streams. He's catching a Bulbasaur, and Sakon has this that personality with that walk that he does. It does feel like a very organic, breathing world, and characters like the Granny who have a different walk animation, or Sakon who have their own prancing animation. It feels alive when a lot of other games don't have that. I mean, obviously, I think this could go into a 3D versus 2D Zelda debate, and I'm sure maybe even 2D Zeldas do this potentially even better. I personally haven't experienced 2D Zelda games. Sometime in the future, wink, wink. But if you're looking for a game that, if you get immersed into it, feels alive, and it feels, like its characters move with meaning, with reason, right? I mean, I like Majora's Mask for that reason.
And hey, I guess I still do. Of course, that also means you only have 3 days to beat each dungeon, but you can always play the Song of Time backwards if you need more time.
If you're a little baby who sucks.
Oh man, that's me. PBG calling me out. The first thing I do, especially in randomizers, I play that inverted Song of Time. I knock that shit right out first thing.
I mean, I do it. Speaking of the dungeons, while there's not very many of them, the ones that are there are pretty solid. I love flying around as a Deku Scrub in Woodfall, Snowhead's verticalness is super iconic to me, and Stone Tower Temple is probably one of the best dungeons in the entire series.
It also has a lot of lore implications.
And, yep, I think that's it. Nothing else worth mentioning?
Nope.
My main
Great Bay is... the trope of water temples always being awful. Great Bay kind of still has that.
complaint with the dungeons, though, and it's probably my biggest complaint with the entire game, is finding all the stray fairies. There's 15 hidden stray fairies in each dungeon, and if you find them all and return them to the Great Fairy, you'll get an upgrade. In theory, it's kinda cool, but in practice, it sucks.
So I will add my bit here with playing Majora's Mask enough times that I feel like I have at least some kind of commentary on this. Not, mastery like Vine Sauce would, I would argue, and PBG, because I've played way more. Anyways, moving on. So the magic meter, that was locked initially in the original 64 version. That was locked behind the 15 fairies in Snowhead, from my memory. I think it was the upgraded spin attack was Woodfall. They swapped it in the remake. So think about it this way. You have to go 2 dungeons in to get the double magic meter, which, in Zelda games isn't necessarily required, but it's really damn nice, don't get me wrong. I think Great Bay was actually the double heart, the reinforced hearts. And then Ikana was the black rose, Great Fairy Sword. Anyways, so the fact that they swapped those 2 in the 3D version, where Woodfall would give you the double magic, was actually good for game balance and design to get players into that double magic meter a little bit quicker. They were kind of a pain. However, there is the Great Fairy's Mask that can, if you are close enough and they are not within an object and or bubble, like you saw the fairy in the bubble, it can attract them. However, yeah, fine. Sometimes you'll be like, I have 13 out of 15, but where's this last one? And like in Snowhead, there's a very specific ledge that you have to have Lens of Truth to see. I mean, you can still go through it, don't get me wrong, if you know where it is. But there's a ledge that is just like tucked away in the verticality of it, and it's just a pain to find.
Most of them are pretty easy to find, but some of them are just so obscurely hidden, it's ridiculous. Especially some of the ones in Snowhead Temple.
One of those, yeah.
Why would anyone use the Lens of Truth in this specific part of this specific room? And even once you do, you jump up these cool-looking invisible steps. Oh man, I bet this is gonna be something good. Nope. It's a fairy. Hey, at least it's not the freaking stamps in Twilight Princess. If you do get them, though, the rewards are pretty good. The increased magic bar in particular is useful, and the Great Fairy Sword is freaking insane.
Yes.
To this grass. This thing is like twice the size of Link's body. I feel like the bosses also stand out from the typical Zelda boss fights.
George, old peanut butter gamer. No, it was an old JonTron meme, actually. It's George.
There's not really much of a gimmick or formula. It's just, here's a boss. F him up. If you get too close to him, you'll be beaten. I'll be fine. And when you kill them, you get their mask. Or I guess I should say their face. You seize their remains. Pretty hardcore. So you just keep their remains in your pocket for the rest of the game. Gross. But my favorite part of Majora's Mask has always been the masks, or more specifically, the side quests. Or more specifically, the mask side quests. There's 24 in total, and each one has their own quest. There's some that are kind of insignificant to the game overall, like the Mask of Sense that you get from the Deku Butler. I'm not really sure why the Deku are the ones that have this thing, by the way. Here, Link, the Deku people have prepared something special for you. We cut the face off of a pig. Here you go. When I see
Try not to think too hard about it.
you, I am reminded of my son. Huh. Cool. Also the Dongero mask, which is only used to get a single piece of heart. But hey, at least you get to watch Link do this.
Frog choir.
And even better, you can do it again.
Yeah.
And then
Honestly, I get the Dongero Master Fierce Deity. That's about it.
you can do it again. Directing so hard right now. Then there's other masks that you're required to get in order to win, like the Gibdo mask. This is by far one of the most depressing parts of the whole game, and that's saying something. This guy, who's obsessed with studying paranormal activity, moved out into the middle of a con.
Wait, that was a Garo.
This guy, who's obsessed with studying
Oh, I didn't actually know that. Well, I mean, I never noticed the Garo one in his hut.
paranormal activity, moved out into the middle of Akana to study Gibdo. But he eventually gets cursed and turns into one himself. So his little daughter locks him in a wardrobe, and she even made a little Gibdo teddy bear for him. Oh my god. I'm gonna cry. This part's not just depressing, it's also straight up freaky. Seriously, what the heck is this? I love Nightmare Fuel in my E for Everyone video games. Don't cry, son. He's happy that he's dying. Again. Another
He's just retreating underground. The song is called Farewell to Gibdo, and Gibdos hate it, so therefore they're just retreating underground.
mask that you have to get is the Garo's mask, given to you by two drunk guys that you beat in a horse race.
Horse Luigi's.
I mean, how else would you get a mask, really? Yes, these swell fellows give a mask that makes ancient assassins show up to try and murder you to a child. And the quest...
But, like, so that's the thing, the Garo, so the entirety of Akana is effectively just a parallel to Hyrule, with the Akana royal family being the Hylian royal family, and then the Garo are theorized to be the Sheikah from this world. I mean, like there's so many parallels, and so many potential lore implications this game has. It's nutty. Like, if you like Dark Souls lore, I mean, you know, this could be an easy segue.
ends with them telling you that you can't tell anyone where you got it, insinuating that they know full well how dangerous it is and don't want to be held responsible for your inevitable violent demise. Then there's the two most useful masks, the bunny hood and the stone mask. To get the bunny hood, which makes you run super fast, you have to get another mask, the circus leader's mask. I find it ironic that in order to get the fastest mask in the game, you have to use the slowest mask in the game. And then the stone...
Do you? I don't think you do. You need... No, you just need the Bremen mask.
fastest mask.
I don't think that's correct.
To get another mask, the circus leader's
So I think the Circus Leader mask is only for a piece of heart.
mask. I find it
Because you go talk to this Grog clone, and he's like, oh, well, I wish my little chickens could grow up, and you use the Bremen mask, which you get from Guru Guru at the laundry pool, to get all the chickens to grow up, because once you get all 10 in a line, they start popping into full-grown cocoons.
ironic that in order to get the fastest mask in the game, you have to use the slowest mask in the game.
Well-
and then the
Well, okay, yeah, so the Bremen mask being slow, that makes sense, but you don't need the Circus Leader mask, from my understanding.
stone mask, which makes you invisible to most enemies.
You there! Stop! What's going on? Come to me, sweet flesh! Stay safe, citizen.
The quest
It really do be like that, though. Stone mask is OP.
to get the stone mask is one of the funnier ones, if you ask me. This freaking guy who gives it to you, who's invisible for some reason, has been sitting here waving his arms around and begging for help for, quote, many years. Years and years and years. Just waving.
Hello.
Then there's the
They changed that in 3D. 3D, he's in Gerudo Pirate Fortress, and he's in the middle.
scariest mask in the whole game. No, it's not the captain's hat, the soul of a fallen captain who died in battle long ago. No, it's not the Camaro mask, a creepy dead guy's protruding face sewed onto some flesh. And no, it's not even the All Knights mask, a mask which prohibits the wearer from falling asleep, which is confirmed by a gossip stone in-game to have been used as a torture device.
Yeah, his game's metal.
No, it's the Great Fairy mask. I've made this joke like 8 times on this channel already, and I'm probably gonna do it again. All right, please subscribe. And of course, there's also the main 3 masks that transform Link into different races: the Goron mask, the Zora mask, and the Deku mask.
That's the one.
These are all pretty dark because they contain the souls of characters who died. Though it is kind of hard to take this guy's death very seriously. He's literally dying, but he apparently has the energy to perform an entire concert for me before he finally croaks. Oh,
Let him cook, let him cook.
so his songs are pretty balls. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I mean, the songs written on his gravestone are about how Zora punch and swim or whatever. It'd be like Jimi Hendrix writing a song about how he walks with A and joystick, apparently. But hey, at least he taught me well. I think I've just about figured this out. The Goron mask and Zora mask, holding the spirits of Darmani and Mikau, or Mikau? However you say it, I still don't know, are a part of the game's storyline, but the Deku mask is just handed to you at the beginning, so it kinda subtly begs the question, where did the Deku mask come from? Well, it comes from the Deku Butler's son, aka the sad little stump thing that you see towards the start of the game.
I thought that this was still technically not proven true. There's allusions to it, and even in the end credits, you see the Deku Butler crying to this little stump, this little tree. I thought we didn't have 100% confirmation on that, though.
Of course, I feel like a lot of people who haven't even played the game know about that at this point, thanks, I guess, at least in part, due to old YouTube videos like the ones I made back in the day. Definitely
G-Files returning when PBG. Not that he's ever gonna see this. G-Files return when?
depressing, but far, far from the only dark and depressing thing in the game. Of course, another thing I've talked about 100 times in this game over the years is all the stuff that happens at Romani Ranch, specifically the alien ghost abductions.
Yeah.
Well, one thing occurred to me while playing this time that I'd never thought of before. Usually you would go through the whole quest and dialogue with Romani about the ghost aliens before they attack. Still super weird, but at least you're somewhat prepared for it. But there's definitely a chance that you could just show up on Romani Ranch in the first night around 3 a.m. and just see it happening. I mean, again, it's weird enough as it is, but with absolutely no context, that would be legit freaky, and the thought that this 100% happened to a bunch of kids playing this game growing up is really, really funny to me. I honestly don't even remember if I've talked about this guy before or not, but one of the most straight up disturbing things to me is the rarely talked about swordsman instructor.
Honestly, every time I've done a randomizer, I'm a solid 9 out of 10 every times I go through a randomizer or an early clock down. He always gives me something super legit. I always check him.
He talks all tough for basically the entire cycle, but the last few hours of the final night before the moon crashes, all of a sudden he's gone missing. I'll be on vacation for a short while. Please don't look for me. Oh. Okay. If you hop up and cut the board on the wall, there he is, literally cowering in fear in the corner. Pathetic. It's easy to forget sometimes while playing that the whole freaking world is basically gonna blow up and that everyone you meet is essentially coping with that fact in some way. But the guy that you find once you complete
Trauma.
the beach spider house does a good job of reminding you. He begs you to let him have this underground bunker so he can hide out during the moon crash. I mean, I don't think this hole that's 10 feet in the ground is gonna do you much good, but whatever makes you feel better. But one of the weirdest and darkest things in all of Majora's Mask is, racism? Specifically
Yeah.
towards the Deku Scrubs. No scrubs! No scrubs! No scrubs! The pictograph contest? Sorry, humans only. The witch in the swamp is freaking dying, but as a Deku Scrub, she will not let you save her. Ack, now I've gone and done it. I've gone and attracted some weirdo's attention. Holy crap, Grandma, keep it to yourself, sheesh. Of course, there's the kids that won't let you in their club. Screw you, racist kids. I'll smack you with my nuts.
Ow!
It's okay that I, an adult, am beating up this child. He was mean to me. Of course, there's the racist dog that attacks you at the start of the game. And if you pick him up with a mask of truth, you'll see that killing Deku Scrubs is pretty much the only thing he ever thinks about. And they won't even let you compete in the dog races. Actually, I don't think this is a good idea. I mean, look at you. You know what doggies do to trees, don't you? Excuse me? This is absolutely unacceptable. Since I've played this game
Majora's Mask is a game of all time.
A million times. I tried to go through it and take my time, see if I noticed anything I hadn't seen before, especially considering specific things can happen at specific times based on the specific actions that you take in the 3-day cycle. And I was kind of surprised at how many new things I did see.
Yeah, hookshot and the bow will just blow up the bomb bag.
I don't even have time to list all of them off here, but I will give a few of the highlights. There's a somewhat obscure building in town near the bomber's hideout, the mayor's residence. If you go left, there's the office with the guards and builders arguing. Those guys are freaky as hell, by the way. What is up with their tongues? And on the right is the room where you get the Kaife mask. But I never noticed this additional room on
Yeah, it's just, it's the bedroom on the side.
which contains a living area
There's a cow on the table behind the
for
curtain.
the mayor and his family. It even has a room for Kaife, who has a picture of his fiancée Anju on his desk. I also noticed that they don't have a bathroom. I swear, there's
Maybe? Oh, I guess maybe it was a 3D that added the 3D bobblehead cow.
only one toilet in this entire city, and there's a freaking hand coming out of it. I always thought that Anju's mom was old and senile, but if you go into
Oh, is this the tiger? Is this the tiger on the back of her chair? Granny
her
packing.
room at just the right point, it turns out that she's only pretending to be crazy because Anju's food is disgusting and she doesn't want to eat it. And the creepiest one, if you go back into the Deku Palace before you beat the dungeon, they're freaking boiling the monkey alive.
I have not seen this one though, but I've heard of this.
I think he's dead, honey.
So after playing the game all the way through again, can I still say that it's my favorite Zelda game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye! You're the meaning in my life. You're the inspiration. You bring feeling to my life. You're the inspiration. I wanna have you near me. I wanna have you hear me sing it.
Oh, please don't.
No one needs you more than I
The holographic cartridge cover.
need you.
Oh, sweet Wind Waker.
That's the one.
Next year for
He throws the cartridge at something. Oh god, is the thing okay? What about the cartridge? No, the cartridge is fine. Is the thing okay?
Zelda Month Wind Waker video. I mean, maybe. Subscribe. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Helps me out quite a bit. If you want to see the Breath of the Wild video where I had a change of heart in the game, you can check that out here. Or you can go to my other channel, Peeves, where I opened up the Zelda Game & Watch. And I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hello.
No, this was very well done. I can't wait for this month's Zelda month. And 40 Zelda month videos, PBG. Man, you are... It's been a good solid few years, hasn't it? 10 years about, right? Could you do like four every Zelda month? This was absolutely awesome. Thank you for this. I can't wait for this coming Zelda month to see what you put out. It was nothing short of epic.